So don't try to snatch my murderer. Don't try to snatch.
Break us apart.
I still got some questions. You ever had $150,000 in your hand? Yeah, me either. But if I did, here's exactly what I would do. Check it out. Spend $150,000 on a big old yacht. Wait a minute, that's not enough to buy a yacht. Spend $150,000 on an iced out watch. Wait, what? I don't even really wear a watch. With a big screen TV in every room. That wouldn't make sense. Only got 5 rooms. And you buy a little money for my baby girl. Just might take a trip around the world. I buy some yoga and meditate. I get some brand new roller skates. I'd spend some cash and fix this beat. I might get some escargot to eat. Oh, what you said that's made with snails. Instead, do you have blue crab for sale? I make 100 dozen and cook them up. Then share with my friends to party up. If you had 150,000.
You shot 3-year-olds in the head?
But we're Jewish!
You hog-tied children and executed them?
Fuck you!
And then buried them alive?
But it's my favorite thing!
You bombed doctors and nurses?
But the Holocaust!
And then ran them over with tanks?
I didn't do it!
You bombed food relief workers.
It wasn't us!
You've single-handedly destroyed the entire education and healthcare infrastructure in Gaza?
We have a right to defend!
You bombed UN workers. No. You slaughtered entire families by waiting till they got home at night and bombed them at 5 a.m. when you knew they would be there?
Fuck you!
If one of you fools trying to snatch my girl, I'ma fucking come hunt you down, you understand? I'm a fucking demon, don't play with me.
We're both demons, you guys. Don't play with us.
And just straight up.
This is the last Tartarian clock that still works to this day and is 100% evidence that our ancestors knew the earth was flat and stationary. Now I want you to watch till the end because this is going to blow your mind.
You and your phone. Get your ass beat.
Off my property
Get
now.
the out of here. Record that. Come back again. I'm angry.
Now.
Yeah, he did say that twice.
How the fuck am I ignorant? How the fuck am I ignorant? So you think God came down and fucking died on the cross for us? You're the ignorant person.
You are not going to believe this. Hiking and even just walking into the woods is now illegal in Nova Scotia.
Stay out of the woods. We are restricting travel and activities that really aren't necessary. Hiking, camping, fishing, and the use of vehicles in the woods are not permitted. Trail systems through woods are off limits.
This little piece of wood that I'm holding right here is known as palo azul. So this piece of wood right here has an immense amount of health benefits. It's known to prevent kidney stones, kidney disease, helps with weight loss, proper digestion. It's also good for UTIs. It removes excess water from the body, inflammation, arthritis. It has a bunch of anti-cancer properties. It's good for high blood pressure. It's an antioxidant, so it's known to burn fat and detox the body. It also helps with bad breath, cavities, E. coli, and lower cholesterol.
Palo Azul. There's your monthly reminder to not forget about Palo Azul and drink your freaking Palo Azul. You can find it at any local Mexican market in the Baggy area. This is how it looks. It's in the Mexican spice rack area.
And if you didn't go and get the jab, but somebody who you had the jab, then it is transmitted inside of you. But let's get into this video.
Right.
Listen.
It's the boy, Dr. Lewis here, bringing our next series to you. If you follow the videos, remember I was speaking about trying to prove the transmission of a vaccinated person having sex with an unvaccinated person, and the unvaccinated person starts to experience side effect. And when we take a sample of the unvaccinated person blood, it's actually looking like a vaccinated person blood. So we're just going to actually prove that today with our data. As you can see here, the blood is looking like a vaccinated person blood, whereby we've seen all the fermentation behind the plasma of the blood, and also in some samples before we was actually seeing the discoloration of the blood as well too, as we could see here. An unresponsive immune system, we are not seeing much white blood cells present and working for him. And then we saw some candida. There was, as you can see, we see the blood here. there were some parts in the sample where we were seeing mass level of candida. And when we started to see that amount of candida, mean that the white blood cells is unresponsive for a period of time. This is one of my patients. He was with me for a while, about 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. So we have a good idea how his health is. So when he started experiencing discomfort and the way that he was feeling, we decided to run some tests. And we see in the course here to why he's feeling how he's feeling. And when we look back on it with the blood work, and when he started to feel like that is after having sexual intercourse with a vaccinated person. So yes, we finally proved that it can spread through sexual intercourse.
This is your warning, okay?
A warning for what?
A warning for attacking the city attorney personally.
This is all factual information.
It doesn't matter.
You're violating my First Amendment rights.
This is what you agreed to when you first speaking. This is the form.
It is unconstitutional, Mayor Hall.
Well, it's not unconstitutional.
It is.
And if you're
the Supreme Court has upheld. I could get up here and I could swear at you for 3 straight minutes, and it is protected speech by the Supreme Court. It is.
No, you can't.
Why don't you look at case law?
No, you can't.
I can.
So if you want to be
also the chair is engaged in debate. So
do you
point
want
of
to be
order.
escorted out of here? Do you want to be escorted out
You're
of here?
violating my First Amendment rights.
Talking.
Do not put your hands on me.
Come on out.
Do not put your hands on me.
Come out with me now before you get arrested. Do you understand?
Are you detaining me?
Yes.
Why am I being detained? Under what charges? Under what charges?
Ow! Ow! Get this dog off of me! It's a new vantage point from inside a canine attack on a man who says he was experiencing a mental health issue.
Please! The video speaks for itself. The dog was mauling him.
Last Sunday, Alpharetta police say they responded to Travis Moya's household in Alpharetta after Moya's stepson and wife called 911.
Why are you doing this? There's a situation occurring right now at my house. My stepfather, he's acting like all wild and crazy. He's like growling.
Yeah, we need an ambulance. We don't need the police. We need an ambulance. Oh my God, I don't want him to see the police and get alarmed or anything.
Despite calls for medical personnel, moments later, video shows Alpharetta police officers showing up at Moya's house.
How's it going, man? What? We're just here to make sure everything's okay.
In the police report, officers say Moya, who is also now facing felony obstruction charges, took off his sweat jacket while balling up both of his fists and appeared very agitated.
Come here. Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
But new body camera video shows Moya put on his jacket and was trying to walk inside his house peacefully. Seconds later,
the ground. Don't fight with us.
Police say Moya was resisting arrest and attempting to get away, but video shows he had 3 officers on his back before he was tackled to the ground where they attempted to handcuff him.
Officer Esposito waited 3 seconds, actually a little bit less than 3 seconds, before using the canine to attack.
Video shows the canine still biting Moya while both of his hands are behind his back.
He's on 2 different antibiotics for how severe the infections are to his arm because of all of the bacteria that was on this canine's teeth. They're in mental health counseling. He's having to see an orthopedic because of the damage to the shoulder.
At no point was he actively resisting law enforcement.
But Alpharetta police say Moya was resisting and officers follow the department's use of force policy. The Fulton County DA says they are now reviewing the video as well.
For the Fulton County District Attorney to dismiss the charges. There's nothing more to investigate.
And it should constitute a hate crime. Maybe the officer who showed up on scene just didn't understand that. If you don't know what we're talking about, if you're on TikTok, you can click on the comment. But it's a video of this couple who got angry that a young black man was soliciting at their front door and said some pretty horrible things to him, only he wasn't even a solicitor. He wasn't selling anything. He was a project manager with a utility company there to tell them that, hey, there's been a bunch of upgrades in your neighborhood, and here's how you utilize them. So, great that that's how they received him. Now, as I said, that officer who showed up didn't seem to understand it's a crime. Maybe others will. And you might see this and think, oh, good, he got arrested. And he did. But this has nothing to do with the situation in the video. Stephen Willie here has a little bit of a record. Most recently, battery domestic violence. And that was this year. So, class act, this guy. He and his wife, Cheryl Gregg, which... Hang on. Okay. The 2 of them. Hopefully they will face consequences. At the very least, people who know them, people who live around them, can know exactly what kind of people that they are. And you all brought that on yourself.
You bombed people trying to eat food?
They did it!
You bombed people trying to receive humanitarian aid?
We're looking into it!
And you bombed the people that were trying to administer humanitarian.
We conducted an investigation and we found we did nothing wrong.
You roped off entire neighborhoods and then bulldozed over them?
You're being anti-semantic.
You sent drones into Gaza playing audio of children crying to lure Palestinians out and then massacred them?
But like the Holocaust.
You used AI-generated kill lists and didn't bother to double-check the names.
Oh, that's the Netzah.
You set up kill zones where anyone that meandered into this invisible zone was automatically targeted for death.
No, that's the Netzah Yehuda.
Then you bombed the ambulances who were coming to help those people that were bombed.
Netzah Yehuda.
You're not allowing independent investigations?
It wasn't us, it was the Netzah Yehuda.
You sniped journalists.
We're looking into it.
You killed teachers and students.
It's just a few bad apples is all.
You used disproportionate violence.
Now we get to be the Gestapo.
You bombed a refugee camp?
Now we get to be the Gestapo.
And then ran them over with tanks?
But we're Jewish.
Former CEO of Dole, dead, June 9th, 2025. Founder of Leprino Foods, dead, June 19th, 2025. Leonard Lauder, CEO, billionaire philanthropist, dead, June 14th, 2025. Frederick Smith, former CEO of FedEx, dead, June 21st, 2025. Billionaire Burton Tansky, dead, March 16th, 2025. Billionaire Robert Shapiro, dead, May 2nd, 2025. Former CEO of Hasbro, Alan Hassenfield, dead, July 8th, 2025. Blackstone executive Wesley LePatner, 43 years old, dead, July 2025. Junior Bridgman, billionaire, dead, March 11th, 2025. Joshua Pickles, DoorDash executive, dead, June 21st, 2025. Milestone CEO, dead, June 2025. Jim Irsay, dead, May 21st, 2025. He was the CEO and owner of the Indianapolis Colts. You think all of these are a coincidence? All of them? All of them?
After the first shot, as soon as I pulled out onto the street, my entire face just started tingling.
My face started burning and my vision became a little blurred.
I started getting a headache. It was just a very odd headache. Never had a headache like that before.
Then that pain began coming back up into my chest area.
It literally ripped down my arm. I never felt anything like that in my whole life.
I started feeling tremors, twitching, like it was vibrating inside.
I guess the best way to describe it was like a cell phone inside my body, buzzing and zapping.
I knew I was blacking out, and there was no way to stop it.
Burning in my rib cage, spine, pain in all my joints.
My hips felt like somebody had a ratchet strap around my waist, getting tighter.
I remember kind of coming to, sitting on the couch in our office, wondering why I'm shaking so bad.
2 hours after the vaccine in my left arm, the tremor started.
36 hours later, had nausea, vomiting, and then started having trouble breathing.
The chest pain started and my heart rate shot up. It was really, really high.
I was like on the floor, like
nearly having a heart attack.
My feet went numb, my hands went numb. I could not feel my hands or feet. My legs were tingling.
I could feel my body and everything shutting down.
I tried to stand up and my legs wouldn't move. And then I pushed myself off the table and then fell. No response from my legs.
You know how when you hold a baby up and if you let that baby go, how they just, that's what happened.
2 o'clock in the morning, just before 2 o'clock, I woke up and I couldn't move at all.
I can't feel my legs. I can't feel anything.
I realized at that point something bad was happening.
So this started out with tingling in my arm the day I got the shot. So it was pins and needles in my hand the very first day. And then it turned into blurry vision, so I couldn't see straight.
The symptoms just kept stacking. Felt like I had acid going up and down in my veins, and it fluctuated with my heart rate.
Right now with my problem, I have to sleep, and I have to sleep a lot, and it's really, really hard for me.
The kids couldn't be near her, they couldn't touch her. The sound of my pants walking by, the swishing of my pants was too loud. If you tried to talk to her, she couldn't say more than 1 or 2 words before just becoming overwhelmed and telling you to go away.
This week marks 4 months of sickness, so I'm doing a lot better, but still a long ways from being independent, so. All of them?
My name is Philip Buchholz. I have a PhD in biochemistry and molecular biology. I'm a cancer gene jock. Basically, I do cancer genomics research at the University of South Carolina. And what that means is that I'm kind of an expert on all the ways that the human genome can get futzed with during your lifetime and which of those things cause cancer and which ones don't. The Pfizer vaccine is contaminated with plasmid DNA. It's not just mRNA. It's got bits of DNA in it. This DNA is the DNA vector that was used as the template for the in vitro transcription reaction when they made the mRNA. I know this is true because I sequenced it in my own lab. The vials of Pfizer vaccine that were given out here in Columbia, one of my colleagues was in charge of that vaccination program in the College of Pharmacy, and for reasons that I still don't understand, he kept every single vial. So he had a whole freezer full of the empty vials. Well, the empty vials have a little tiny bit in the bottom of them. He gave them all to me, and I looked at them. We had 2 batches that were given out here in Columbia, and I checked these 2 batches, and I checked them by sequencing. And I sequenced all the DNA that was in the vaccine, and I can see what's in there. And it's surprising that there's any DNA in there, and you can kind of work out what it is and how it got there, and I'm kind of alarmed about the possible consequences of this, both in terms of human health and biology, but you should be alarmed about the regulatory process that allowed it to get there. So this DNA, in my view, it could be causing some of the rare but serious side effects like death from cardiac arrest. So there's a lot of cases now of people having suspicious death after vaccine. It's hard to prove what caused it. It's just, temporally associated. And this DNA is a plausible mechanism. It's different from RNA because it can be permanent. This is a real hazard for genome modification of long-lived somatic cells, like stem cells. And it could cause, theoretically, this is all a theoretical concern, but it's pretty reasonable based on solid molecular biology, that it could cause a sustained autoimmune attack toward that tissue. It's also a very real theoretical risk of future cancer in some people. Depending on where in the genome this foreign piece of DNA lands, it can interrupt a tumor suppressor or activate an oncogene. I think it'll be rare, but I think the risk is not zero, and it may be high enough that we are to figure out if this is happening or not.
Hermano,
¿Qué pasó?
pásame una servilleta.
Ah, sí, ahorita. En la servilleta. ¿Dónde cayó mi billete?
Ya están ahí, amor. Quisieron hacer lo que hicieron unos.
This is the Prague astronomical clock, and it is perfectly synchronized with true astrology from our flat stationary Earth, just like all of our ancestors told us. Now watch. This clock perfectly tracks sidereal time, solar time, moon phases, the position of celestial bodies, and even zodiac signs, all in perfect synchronization, all without any electricity or satellite calibration. Now the clock's design encodes a geocentric model, placing the Earth at the center with celestial bodies moving around it in perfect predictable cycles. So how would this clock perfectly predict, to this day, perfect planetary alignments, eclipses, and even zodiac transits? The Earth was spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, orbiting the sun at 66,000 miles per hour, hurtling through space at millions of miles per hour. It would be impossible to predict these things. All of our ancestors told us that the stars are what move above us and that we are stationary. It's like the Egyptian depiction of the Earth. We have a flat, stationary Earth and the stars on the firmament. I want you to take notice at the middle part of this clock. This is the moon map, which is the real map of the Earth. Quite literally the flat Earth map, guys. And recently they've destroyed this by putting a globe on this clock. Literally how they cover up the real origins of humanity and our true history. An absolute disgrace this is. This clock is built on the fact that stars rise and set in repeatable patterns, that the heavenly bodies move above us, observable for centuries and centuries. This is why if you point a camera at Polaris, which is the North Star, which doesn't move, it stays fixed and stationary 24/7, 365 days of the year in the night sky, it doesn't move. The stars around it do perfect circles constantly. Again, not possible if we're spinning, also orbiting the fucking sun and hurtling through space. You would see the stars do all sorts of crazy patterns. You just need to think about it. That's all you need to do. Astrology only works as perfect as it does because the stars are what move in perfect cycles. And literally all of our ancestors knew this. All of them. You guys believe NASA, which in Hebrew means to deceive. Like, it's insane. So brainwashed. These astronomers had no computers, yet they predict eclipses, planetary returns, solstices, and even retrogrades with shocking accuracy that still works to this day. This has been running for over 600 years, and probably more than that. Do not build a cosmic machine like this unless you know the divine order of this universe. This clock is a witness of truth, standing for centuries in a quiet defiance of the heliocentric lie. And the stars tell the exact same story every single night. If we were moving, the story would change, but it never does.
There is nobody in it. We at wind code. I'm gonna move out the way because it's driving itself. It's literally driving its fucking self. It's driving itself. Move out the way. The car is driving itself. Move, it's driving, nobody is in it. Yeah, move out the way, y'all. It's driving itself, by itself. Move out the way, y'all, move out the way. Please, y'all, move out the way. Why? Literally.
We will both come after you and you will not like it.
When I was in anesthesiology residency training, they asked me to go up to ICU and bring down a brain dead man to become an organ donor. Well, I hadn't really thought about that very much. And so I asked him, gee, brain death, is there anything I need to know about this? It's my first time doing this. And my staff man just rolled his eyes and said, just be sure someone has actually declared him brain dead. You know how eager the transplant team can be. So I went up there and I found my patient, and he didn't look dead. His heart was beating. He had a good blood pressure, good heart rate. His oxygen saturation was great. He looked just like every other ICU patient I'd taken care of, and in fact, better than most. And in my gut, I knew something was wrong, but I had been taught by my authorities that this man was dead. So I came back to the operating room and I found the staff anesthesiologist who was going to be supervising me, and I presented the case to him. And he asked me for my anesthetic plan of care. And I said, well, I think I'll use a paralyzing agent because, surgeons get crabby when people move during surgery. And I'll give him some fentanyl to blunt any heart rate or blood pressure swings that might damage his organs. And the doctor looked at me and he said, well, are you going to give him anything to block consciousness? Well, I was stunned. I said, well, why would I do that? Isn't he dead? And he just gave me this long, slow look over his surgical mask, and he said, why don't you give one just in case? And he walked away. Now, Brandon, my gut was telling me this is wrong. Something is really going on wrong here. But, may God forgive me, I caved to my authorities and the push that everyone was taking to take this man and get this case done. And I did what I was told. I took the man to the operating room. I gave him the anesthesia we had planned to do. And I'm here to tell you, he reacted to the incisions, to the bone saws, to the removal of pieces of him, just like any other patient. He required the same types and the same amounts of anesthesia. And, I told this story to a friend of mine who's a pathologist. And, she told me when she removes organs during an autopsy in the morgue, she doesn't need to give any of these drugs.
1 month after my Watch the Water documentary came out 2 years ago, and I listed nicotine as the antidote, England, America, Canada, the UK, and New Zealand in the same week all made a new announcement to all of their citizens, a national health agenda. Do you know what it reads? We are going to, by the year 2030, eradicate access to all tobacco products for consumers in all of our countries. Do you know why they're doing that? Somebody got the word out that nicotine prevents these viruses and you don't need a vaccine. And so they had to figure out a way now to go, you know what? We got to get this out, man. We have got to get this out of circulation. They didn't know actually, or want to publish the benefit of nicotine in plants like vegetables. And these will be resources for all of you at home in the future. Also, you can grow your own organic tobacco products, tobacco leaves. You can get the seeds and start growing those yourself if they're not going to allow you to consume those in the future or buy them in stores, which is fine. I don't mind. It's in nature already.
So remember that conspiracy theory where it was saying if you have organ donor on your card and you get into an accident, hospitals will either let you die or actually actively try to kill you to get your organs? Well, it's no longer a conspiracy theory. It has just been confirmed by a new article in the New York Times, and it says a push for more organ transplants is putting donors at risk. People across the United States have endured rushed or premature attempts to remove their organs. Some were gasping, crying, or showing other signs of life. I'm a little speechless because this is real.
One thing that I find very funny about America is things that black people exclusively experience is always a conspiracy theory until other people start experiencing it. So let me explain what's going on. Black people, for the longest, the moment ambulance shows up and it sees organ donor, no matter what it is, if it's something that will kill them, ambulance will not do anything. They will delay until the black person dies. So they take their organs and they use it to save white people. Black people complained about this for the longest. Nobody listened. They called us crazy. They called us conspiracy theorists. You know what happened? Black people stopped being organ donors. Go check it. Black people no longer giving up. I'm not an organ donor. I used to be. I no longer am. I took it off my ID. Black people en masse collectively stopped being organ donors. So when the market realized there are not enough black people to steal organs from, who to kill and take their organs, now they started going after the low-class white people. So now enough low-class white people have lost their organs in the same way that we used to for centuries, for decades, to the point that now they're raising an alarm about it. It wasn't a problem when it was exclusively happening to us. When we stopped being organ donors, and suddenly now whites are being the one affected, boom, it's not a conspiracy anymore. I just saw a video on TikTok. I'll go find it and I'll make a video about it, about a Mexican man who said who came up to admit, he said he understands, he finally believes black people. He literally said this whole time, his whole life here, black people talk about police and how police racially profile us. He said he thought we were exaggerating, that we were criminals and we were just lying for the sake of it. He said now, in the last 6 months, the way ICE has been racially profiling his people, Hispanics, that he now understands it's not an exaggeration, that it really was happening. It really has been happening. And he came on to apologize to black people. Everything in America is a conspiracy until it starts affecting non-black people.
I recently posted about white people saying that they don't see color, and I called them out on it. But wouldn't you know, in the comments of that very same post, a bunch of white people showed up saying, well, I don't see color. White people, stop saying that. Let me tell you why. First of all, it's not true. You do see color. If I put a picture of Beyonce next to a picture of Taylor Swift, you could figure out which one is black and which one is white. You know. You also know who's more likely to get followed around in stores. Saying I don't see color does not make racism go away. It just makes you look like you're covering something up. And that right there is privilege. And that's the whole problem. You get to ignore race because it hasn't hurt you. You get to walk through the world like the rules are fair because for you, mostly they are. But people of color don't get that option. Their race gets noticed all the time in job interviews, in classrooms, in traffic stops, in hospitals, just in the neighborhood. If you say you don't see color, what they hear is, I don't see what's hurting you, and I don't plan to. Whenever you say that, that's what people of color hear. You think that you're being kind and open-minded and open-hearted, but what you're really saying is your experience doesn't mean anything to me. And that's not kind. That's dismissive. It's privilege.
Donut, Pop-Tart, piece of bread, doesn't matter. Kool-Aid, Dr. Pepper. Did you know that when you swallow sugar, they have known for 70 years that it goes inside your bone marrow and it suppresses within 45 minutes your body's ability to produce white blood cells that fight infections like bacteria, yeast, viruses, funguses, and parasites. Did you know that it literally shuts off your immune system and makes you more susceptible to all viruses, all infections? And did you know that they compared sugar to prednisone? Prednisone is a steroid. And do you know that its job is to suppress your immune system? In fact, it's called an immune system suppressant. Did you know that sugar suppresses your immune system more than prednisone does? So if you're trying to fight an infection, if you're worried about the bird flu in the future, and I find out you're eating donuts and Pop-Tarts and cereal in the morning, I don't care about your health.
Fishing, hunting, camping, driving, and again, just walking into the wild is now a crime, subject to a $25,000 penalty.
The fine for violating any of these bans, $25,000.
And get this, even people with property in these areas are no longer allowed to explore them.
If you have a home or cottage surrounded by a wooded area, we strongly encourage you to stay out of those woods. Don't do anything that could unnecessarily put you, your family, or your neighbors at risk.
The justification for these sweeping climate lockdowns is last year's wildfires, which destroyed over 200 homes, but critics aren't buying it, especially with the visible activity seen before and during those disasters. Some argue the fires themselves were no accident, but rather engineered events meant to justify policies like this one. And now here we are, the very first true climate lockdown, a move people have been warning about for decades. Where access to nature is stripped away and citizens are gradually corralled into controlled cities, needing permission to leave and potentially barred from ever returning to the wild again. This may be step number one for corralling people into cities, but I'm optimistic that because we are all paying very close attention, the future is bright.